realization. Generally, in a Dzogchen meditation, when you continue meditating practices such as with foundation Hondo practices and that, and then also this visualization or the sadhana practices, and then we reach to continue practice and meditating, and those are known as Dzogchen, of course, as true practices, and that as you all know, Trikchu practices and Togal practices. Trikchu is what means Trikchu. It's very old, of course, you all know. Trikchu means cutting thoroughly, cutting instantly. And what that means, cutting duality instantly. That is really the cutting. Duality instant. When you cut the duality, what way we reached? We reach to the purity state, or the natural state as it is. Nature state of mind. And that is a rupa, pure from beginning. Napa, rupa. And the rupa is also named many times the ordinary mind. Ordinary mind, not diluted, not fabricated by any. Simple, plain as it is. That is also Tamalpashiva in the teachings. Tamalpashiva is not ordinary mind, is not duality mind. Free from duality. Duality mind is decorated mind. Decorated of duality. It's decorated and fabricated. But this ordinary mind means free from duality. Again in the teaching, Great Master Nyingma Lingpa said, if we think ordinary mind means duality mind, we lost it. Duality, ordinary mind in the Dzogchen teaching or in practicing, if they say that ordinary mind means mind that which is from duality. Duality mind, that means what? Mind is from the emotions, negative emotions. Negative emotions what? Free from the ignorance, free from the attachment, free from the anger, free from the jealousness, free from the arrogance. All combination of those. That is, when it's freed from that, in a practical in Tamra Shiva, ordinary mind means free from the duality mind, that free from duality, that is ordinary. That's the basic nature, grown nature. Nature. So, when you reach that status, then what it does, in the teaching said, when you reach that status, finally to the cave of the grasping and hope and filled cumbered or collapsed cave, or a cave, or the maybe I translated cave as like the tunnel of the grasping and hope and fears are collapsed. Means then the ego cling is gone, attachment is gone, negativity is gone, all gone. And so that is what you really reach. In the Dzogchen teaching, again maybe I forgot to say, that Dzogchen teaching, I think I will say later, that when you practice it, Kada Tukchu or Londrop Toga, these two practices, and then kind of continually continue advancing the practice. Those are known as you all know, path. You are advancing the path. Path is, of course, a metaphor, but it's not something external existing. Path is realization. Path is realization. And in the teaching always said, path, wisdom, sadhan, chimba, and path, wisdom, and realization are the synonym. They're same. In this state, path means you are advancing or discovering the inner nature of our mind. Why I'm saying mind? According to teaching, when we discover the inner nature of the mind, then we discover that all it is objects. What that means? All 5 objects. Then we also really purify 5 objects too. We purify home. So home is become more pure. Tone, sound, smell, taste, and touch all become pure as we pure our mind. Pure from what? Again, like duality. Grasping. When we are freeing duality, then we begin to see external things are more pure and simple to tell. Then that's what's called the pure land. And many times, our great master, his own Dudjom Lingpa, is one of his last teaching, he said, pure land is not outside. If you like to see the pure land, remove the dualities. Remove the dualities. That's what great master, his own Dudjom Lingpa said. See, I mean, that's all the teaching said. As much as we pure, our duality mind, that much, then really see the purity. Again, if you have the realizations, when you have some realizations, we will keep that as a personal qualities. Realization should not express to the others. Actually, in the teaching, it says that when you have the good realization, yogi, never expressing or boosting their realizations to anyone, to others. Keep personally. Maybe you can tell to your own teachers. But other than keep as quiet and peaceful, even use the example, keep as a stone in the ocean. Ocean, that's really how you keep it. Humble and simple. It's not the boosting. Boosting. Every like to show the realization, show your compassion, show your love, your kindness, your patience, respect to the others, all beings, being grateful for all others. That is, then, maybe the people will think, well, then it has some realization. Really think. Just saying I have the realization, this first, bhumi, second, bhumi, this and that, all the accumulation part, the application part, the saying part, all those are the boosting of the realization, and we, according to Vajrayana teaching, we are breaking the samayas. Samayas. Those are in the teaching said. So therefore, even though those advancing the realization is booming in that by the path and meditate, with the joy in your devotion in your body is boosted, and that should be kept, but continually carry more bodhicitta, more devotion until we reach enlightenment. So when we practice this, and then in the Dzogchen teaching, those are supposed to propose, those are called the 4 visions. At the minute, you know. First one is vision or the realization of the same true nature exactly as it is. And the second is expanding the realizations. Third is the reaching to the peak of the awareness. Here mentioned here, peak of the awareness, or I translated peak of peak, but reaching to that. And the fourth is then realization is completely reached to the Dharmakaya status. Those are the 4 realization status. Those who mentioned this and that. And so when you have that realization, that moment, that time finally, then collapses of those that will come. But in order to boost that realization, then here, mentioned here, is all this following, this page 18, explaining, mentioning that really, and what here said, visualizing your 3 doors as the 3 Vajras, and then it's continued from that 1, 2, 3, 4 lines here, and make the supreme offering of your dearly treasured body. Mention to boost the realizations, to bring the realization of this like to those 4 stages of the realization of the Dzogchen, then you should do these following practices. This is what is in the teaching mentioned, and of course you know, it is Jew practices. Jew, I'm sure you heard that terminology, Jew. Jew means, again, in Tibetan word, what means? Cutting thoroughly ego. ego. There is true ego when yesterday or few days ago. True ego, cutting total ego, both ego. First is to cut the ego of ourselves, and then second, cut of the ego of the phenomena. To cut that total, that ego is called also Chu practices. In the Tibetan, it's very popular and powerful, very practices. Chu practices started from Gurpe Masambama, a great Indian master known as Padma Sangji, and then as well as from the great master, translator and master Marpa, and then also from great wisdom Dakini, Machik Labdidoma. I'm sure you heard that. Machik Labdidoma is very famous, really yogini or the female realization beings. Tara or the Tara and the Yishin Soja, or Vajrayana and the Yishin Soja, and all come in a human form again, is called known as the Machik Labdidoma. So famous. And she made it so popular of these two practices and give the teaching, particularly two practices. This is known. And then in the Gurpe Masambhagavita teaching, as I said, and because of that, also so many Tertons has two teaching. All those great Tertons has two teaching, and you all know that. And these two practices, in Tibetan generally there is two practices, and the Mahamadura practices, and the Dzogchen practices, Madhyamaka practices, Panjaparamata or Uma, middle way practices. In the teaching, those great masters, they're all the same, different names and slightly different techniques, and it's just really the nature is the same. So therefore, it's not something completely different. It's all basically the same in the teaching mentioned that. But this time, he has said to boost up the realization, and then do the two practice if you can do that. In order to do this, then you receive again, of course, these vague teachings. And then, of course, Dudjom Lingpa is one of the famous two masters. And Dudjom Lingpa's teaching of the two merit practices called the Truma practices. Of course, you all know it's very famous, very popular practice, very powerful practices. So that, and here also mentioning to boost the realization of the Dzogchen practices or the Sherik Dorje Nӧnpo practices, and do these two practices. And in order to do this, then here, or this, so visualize your three doors as three Vajras. So that you following the sadhana, when you do the practice, you follow it sadhana, that you receive sadhana. Sadhana is Sanskrit word, of course you all know sadhana practice, which